Hello and welcome back. My name is Olive. So this class is a 25-minute lower body mobility routine for you to follow along with at home. In terms of equipment, all you're going to need is perhaps a yoga block. If you don't have one, a chunky book will do, your yoga mat or carpeted ground, and if you would like maybe a weight, so this is a 5 kilo dumbbell, you can use a kettlebell, whatever, something not super heavy. If you don't have one, you can use like a bag of rice or flour or a pint of milk, whatever works best. We're going to start with some joint work, so we're going to start in tabletop before moving into some primers and get everything fired and nice and spicy. So I'll see you there. Before we get into our main drills, we're going to spend a little bit of time working through something called CARs, otherwise known as controlled articulate rotations for the joints. So spine, hips and knees are involved, and we're just going to do a little bit for the ankles as well. So you're going to start by coming into a tabletop position, stacking your shoulders over your wrist, having your hips over your knees. And this is quite an interesting movement to start with. So to learn the movement mechanics first, you're going to come down onto your elbows. Try to continue pushing through your elbows so the top of your spine, so your cervical into your thoracic spine, stays still. And all you're going to do is find movement for your lumbar into your sacrum and a little bit of the pelvis. So you're just going to slowly allow the hips to drop down towards the ground, coming more into extension, and then round, coming into flexion. So everything else is still apart from this region, from lumbar spine down into the sacrum. Hips and pelvis are moving, and it's just a way to help lubricate the joints and also gain some motor control of this area. It looks a little bit weird, but it feels pretty good. So you've also got to think about using the core on the opposite side of the spine. Cool, let's just go one more time each way. Lovely, and then release, come up onto your hands. Now to learn the movement for the thoracic and the cervical spine, come down onto your knees. Let your belly come down onto your thighs as much as possible, if not maybe put a pillow there, but the hands are going to outstretch in front of you. And we do the same thing, but for the thoracic up to our cervical spine. So squeeze in, lift in, extension, chin to the chest, rounding. So again, they're quite small movements for now because we are limiting the range in these joints, but like I said, it's just to learn that motor control. And once we do, the spinal CARs will feel real juicy. Okay, so one more time each way. And then back to neutral, pop yourself back into tabletop. So this bit here, we're going to go through spinal extension and flexion, but always starting from the base of our spine and waving all the way up. So let's start by extension, so belly towards the ground, squeezing shoulder blades together, looking forwards. You're going to start the movement, come into the flexion, so starting from the tailbone, slowly start to curl and wave it all the way up the spine, trying to go up one vertebrae at a time, finishing when the chin drops to your chest. And then again from here, you start the movement from the base, so slowly let the lumbar spine into thoracic, into cervical. And you're just going to slowly go through these movements at your own pace. I really enjoy this movement more so than perhaps the cat-cow that we get in yoga, because the spine feels like it moves more evenly rather than at just one hinge point. And you also gain a deeper awareness in terms of the motor control over these different parts of your spine. So you just know and understand it a little bit more. Okay, we're going to go one more movement each way. And then come all the way back through to tabletop. Okay, lovely. Let's come into some hip CARs. So you're going to take your block or your book or your pillow, whatever it is, and place it in between your right calf and your right hamstring. Reason being, we're going to do a little bit of work to switch the hamstrings on, so they're going to come into an isometric hold. So you're going to squeeze your heel in towards your butt as much as you can to make sure we hold the block here. So push into the hands, you're going to lift the right knee off the ground, move it forwards towards the right wrist just a little bit, then you're going to abduct it, take it out to the side. From here you circle it behind, so the knee is straight behind, the foot goes up towards the ceiling before drawing it back into the wrist. Out to the side, circle it behind, keep squeezing the block. We'll just go 2 more times. So keep the movement small and in control rather than just going for big circular movements. We want to keep that range controlled where we don't find too much twisting in the hips. Slowly in and release. Maybe take a moment, sit back onto your heels, roll through the wrists, because there does end up being quite a lot of pressure that goes through them. Cool. So onto the left side, I'll turn around. Take that block between left calf, left hamstring, push into the hands, lift the knee, so forwards first, out to the side, circle it behind so the knee is straight behind. Again, draw it in, out to the side, circle it, take it behind. So 2 more times. As you do this, try to brace through the core so the spine is in a more protected position as we just work into the left hip. Last one. And slowly release and slowly come down. Okay, so up to you how you want to do the next one. You can do it sitting in a chair. I'm going to do it sitting on my block. We're going to have a little look at some knee cars. So, sitting on the block, doesn't matter where the left leg goes right now. But what we're going to do, the setup for this is quite annoying. You're going to lift your knee off the floor, or the foot off the floor first. Your right elbow goes underneath that knee, so the leg just sort of lands heavy down onto the right forearm. This right hand goes to hold your left bicep, and then the left hand goes to hold the right knee, just so everything feels pretty good. A little bit confusing, but here we are. So all you're going to do, you're going to start by extending and straightening out your right leg as much as possible, and then slowly come down. And you're just going to go through this a couple times, just nice and slow. The leg, just take it as straight as it wants to go. The point of this again is to lubricate into your right knee joint. My lefts and rights today. Good. So we'll go one more like this, and then we'll add a little bit of variety. So as you come back down, the knee is going to stay exactly where it is, but you're just going to turn your ankle inwards ever so slightly. So movement from the foot, turning it inwards as much as you can. And then again, same thing, up and down. You might get some clicks, that's exactly what I've just got. But we're just taking the ankle through a different range as well. Let's go one more time. Try be as upright as you can. And then release. This time turn the ankle so it faces outwards, but try not to twist through your knee. Again, it wants to stay facing forwards. And lifting up and then down. So a couple more like this. It's also quite a nice way to go through some posterior chain flossing. So just getting the fascia from the heel all the way to the glute to just move. Okay, one more time. And then release that leg. Maybe just give it a little bit of a shake, give the arms a shake too. Okay, set up for the other side. Right leg draws in. Taking the left forearm underneath the left knee. Left hand to hold the right bicep. Right hand matches on top of that left leg. And we start nice upright neutral position, straightening and then coming back down. Just again, as much as you are comfortable with. The foot is fairly relaxed, it's neither pointed nor flexed. Okay, last one, and then we change the angle of the ankle. So without letting the knee twist, turn the foot inwards as much as you can, and again, up and down. So you might sort of be like, yo, what is the actual point of me doing this? Because I don't feel like much is going on. The point is just to lubricate these joints so that they move freely and with as little friction as possible. And we start to work on improving our range of motion. Good, so one more. Lovely, and then again, turn the foot so it's turning outwards ever so slightly while still letting the knee stay straight on. And again, just a couple more. Good. And again, like I said beforehand, maybe you get a nice little sort of stretch or release into that posterior chain. Last one. Cool. And then release. More clicks, shake out the legs. Okay, sweet. Let's come into a stretch for the ankles. So looking at dorsiflexion, where the foot is flexed rather than pointing, which is plantar flexion. So with this one, you're going to plant your right toes next to your left knee, and you're just going to start to hug that right knee in. Start to bring more of your weight forwards into the front foot, and you're going to keep your right foot as flat as possible, so the heel's not going to lift up. Feel free to take the hands down to the ground, Now this is going to feel different for everyone. For some this might feel enough going up into your Achilles, but if you feel like you need to add maybe a bit more weight, you can start to press down into that front knee, perhaps a little bit more. Or if you have a weight at home like a kettlebell or I don't know, like a pint of milk, pop it on top of your knee and just add something external to the weight or to the body. Okay, we're going to breathe here. Grip your toes into the ground as well to provide a little bit more stimulus. One more breath. And then slowly back all the way out. From here, what I quite like to do is just hold my knee and gently just start to take it through some circular movement. This is mainly for the ankle. So again, keeping the whole foot flat, and then change direction. Cool. Let's swap the legs over. So right knee comes to the floor, left toes in line with the right knee. And again, hug it in, bring the body weight forwards. Grip the toes into the ground, keep the ankle and the heel and the toes nice and flat. You can lift the bum off and bring more weight, or use your external object, whatever you need. But again, your goal is to just breathe here as you come into your end range to help that nervous system out. Cool, slowly back out. Foot planted to the floor, just take the knee through some circles. Nothing too crazy. Just again, another way to just mobilize and lubricate the joints. Change direction. Cool, and then release. So bring yourself all the way up to standing. The way this is going to work, I've got 5 drills. We're going to do it for 2 sets just so that we really prime the body nicely. The first one we are going to do is called round the clock into a curtsy squat. So nice for the stabilizing muscles, ankle mobility, and really priming into our glute max and our glute med. So spreading the toes nice and wide, grip them into the ground. You're going to start by taking the right leg out in front, starting at about 12 o'clock. We're going to slowly skim it across the ground, taking it round the clock, coming towards 8, and when we get to 8 we land on our tiptoes, let the knees bend, shoulders stay upright over the hips, and then we slowly come down into the curtsy squat, and then back up, slowly skim all the way forwards, again back to 12. We're going to do this 4 more times on the right leg and then swap over, slowly down, pop up, skimming forwards, maybe move your block if it's behind you. So again, for the 3rd rep, going, toes land, sinking, engage, push up, skirt round. Use your hands for a little bit of extra balance if you need. And the breath. Good. So last time on the right side, hopefully the left leg's feeling all nice and fired up. So notice how when my toes land, I sit back nice and upright through the body. Ooh, nice click. Slowly forwards, and then release the right leg, give it a little shake. Okay, so onto the left foot, grounding into the right leg, start at 12. This time we skim, but we land at 4 o'clock, toes to the ground, squatting down low, engaging to press, and then skim it forwards. Okay, 4 more times, taking it nice and slow, breathing. Good. So again, just taking this first round of all the drills to just get used to the movement, to see how we're all feeling. Good. Lovely. So last one, skim into 4, squatting down, up, and then slowly forwards, and release. Lovely. So give it a little shake out, and we'll come into some Cossack Squats for something slightly different. So you start by taking the feet out to a fairly triangular shape, so the ankles are wider than your knees and your hips. Now for the Cossack Squats, it's going to feel different for everyone, depends how low you're going to go, but for this variation we are going to keep the toes facing forwards. I know some people practice it with them turned outwards, but we're going to keep them facing forwards and try to maintain the position of shoulders directly over the hips. Main target is, of course, the glute max, glute med, but also adductors on the inside of the thigh and abductors on the outside of the thigh, as well as the core. Okay, so going 10 reps, 5 on each side. Take your hands out in front of you, and you're just going to bend into the right knee. Go as low as you're comfortable with, without twisting forwards. So again, shoulders over hips, but you can hinge forwards. Engage and lift, and exhale down to the left side. Again, squeeze and lift to the right. Up to the left. Push your big toes into the ground throughout the movement to allow the glutes to fire a little bit more. More clicks from my knees today. Good. So we've got 4 more, 2 more on each side. Allow again forward momentum off the shoulders, off the torso. Last 2. Use the glutes to stabilize that knee. And all the way up. Lovely. Bring those legs in, give them a little shake. We're going to pop down onto our knees, coming into one of my favorite drills called Zigzags. So, in our kneeling position, start by taking the right foot out in front of you, and then you're going to heel toe it out to about 45 degrees. So your knee is turned away from you, but your hips are directly under the shoulders. We are bracing with the core. So this is a combination movement into a forward bend, so active into the hip flexors, and then an active hamstring stretch. So hands on your hips for starters. We're going to go 5 reps each side. We inhale and exhale, bend into the right leg as much as you're comfortable with, firing into your left glute. We come back to our center position. Take the hands in front. Now push your hips behind you, lift the right toes off the ground, drive the heel to the floor to activate that right hamstring. Inhale, we come up. Exhale, we bend right knee. Inhale, center, and exhale, going back. Good. So again, nice and controlled through this movement. If you need to take your hands down to the floor, please feel free, but we've got 2 more. Lovely, last one. And then slowly back up, and we'll swap those legs over. So, right knee to the ground, start the left foot outwards, straight up front, and then heel toe, 45 degrees. Figure out the hips, bracing into the core, breathing, inhale to bend, left leg, exhale, come up, then inhale, send the hips behind you. Good. So again, nice and controlled through this movement. Try to keep that heel flat as you're in the first movement. So here, and then allow the toes to lift off. Press the heel into the ground as you send the hips back. So again, switch, hamstring on. Last one, try keep shoulders over the hips. Don't lean too far into the first portion. You can lean in a second. Good, all the way up. And then release. If you want to come to standing, give the legs a little shake, please be my guest. Lovely. So we are going to come down and do some glute bridges. So lying on your back, and you're going to start with your feet about hip distance apart. Check you can feel your heels with your fingertips, just so that when we do elevate, we have a nice stack of the knees over the ankles, so the body's a little bit more supported. This one is largely, or by and large, for the glutes, but there's a lot of engagement going on from your hamstrings, your adductors, and your abductors as well, looking at your pelvic stability and your core awareness as well. So this one is going to be the slightly easier version. We're going to use both legs for 10 reps. Hands are going to be by your side, push into your toes, slowly start to peel and lift, going for a 2-second hold at the top, and then slowly down. Inhale, lift. Holding for 1, 2, and slowly down. Okay, we're going to do 10 of these. Lifting, engaging, holding, and then slowly down. Lift and hold, push your big toe into the ground, slowly lower. For 5, going up, imagine you've got a beach ball between your knees, slowly down, and you're holding it lightly, so there's just right amount of engagement to the inner thigh and the outer thigh. Okay, going up for 7, engaging, breathing, down. Try to keep the core braced, again, just to help protect the spine. Going for 9, think about driving your heels back towards you so you activate hamstrings, slowly down. And last one, lift, squeeze, engage, and slowly to the floor. Maybe hug your knees in, let yourself rock side to side. Bring your nose up to your knees if you want. Cool. And we're going to roll over onto our back, or onto our front. And we're going to come into a movement called lying 90s, which are some of my most recent favourite movements. It's quite a nice way to sort of switch on again, deeper range into your hips, but also looking at again all the awareness and control of the muscles that surround the hips. I find as well I get a little bit of activation into my internal and external obliques as well, and a little bit actually for the upper back. So we'll see how we get on. You're going to start by taking your hands directly under your shoulders, roll your shoulders back, squeeze the muscles in the upper back together. Engage the butt, push the hips to the floor, and you're going to start by lifting the left foot above the left knee. And then from here, have a little look around, see where it is, so you know where it is in space. You're going to lift the knee off the ground, slide it across the ground, move it up towards your left hand, and let it land. Feel free to lift the chest if you need to. But from here, we're super active from this end range. We lift, and then we return all the way to our start position. So again, we lift, take it out to the side, bring it upwards, let it land, engage glutes to get the lift, and then reverse. Okay, 3 more, nice and slow. Make sure you are engaging, again, the glutes, the muscles on the inner and the outer thigh, because this is quite a deep range for the hips. Last one. Feel free to keep your chest to the floor if you feel like that's accessible. Woo! And then release. Have a little shake out off those hips. Okay, we're going to do it onto the right side. I will switch direction. So again, set yourself up, hands underneath the shoulders, squeezing shoulder blades together. Engage the glutes. Right knee lifts. Take it out to the side, squeeze it up to the right arm, and then lift and return. We'll go again, 5 times in total, and then release. Breathing, keep engaging into the left leg as well. Lovely, 2 more. Keep pressing into the hands. Last one. And then slowly reverse and release. Pillow with the hands, shake out off those hips. Lovely, okay. We are going to do it one more time, going through the whole set again. I will give options this time if you wanted to make it a little bit harder as well. So for the next set of reps, if you wanted to make it harder, you have the option to include a weight. So I have got a 5 kilo dumbbell here, but have your kettlebell, your dumbbell, whatever suits best, or again, your pint of milk. You don't have to use it, just see whatever you feel good in. We're going to start with the round the clock into the curtsy squats. So hold your weight however you see most fit. And we start by taking the right foot to 12, out to the side, come round to 8, drop the toes down to the curtsy squat and back up. Slowly skirt it round. Breathing as you do this movement, feel free to take a micro bend into the left leg. Good. Sometimes added resistance just helps with that muscular awareness as well. Just creates more muscle to brain pathways because there's extra resistance, something external from our body. Remember, try keep shoulders on top of the hips. Oh my god, this is hard. Okay, last one. Breathing. Lovely. Wow, it feels nice and spicy for the left leg. Okay, onto the right side. Again, stabilize. Left foot, 12 o'clock. Out, across the ground. 4 o'clock, come down. Engage, skirt it round. Again, going for 5. If you feel like you obviously want to add in more, please feel free. But I was keeping it at a fairly low volume, just so we can prime everything. Good. And also keep integrity of the movement. Last one. Good, slowly back up. And then release. Okay, nice. So feel free to not use your weight or to use your weight. We're going to come back into our Cossack Squats. So nice triangular shape. Take your weight if you would like. Hold it however. 5 on each side. Toes facing forwards. Inhale. Shoulders over hips. Exhale, bend. Right side. Hinge. Bring your shoulders in front if you need. Engage and push. Exhale. Left side. Good. I have so much clicking from my knees today. Lovely. Make sure as you come down, you push your toes into the ground to assist on the lift back up. Try to utilize and recruit the muscles on the inner and the outer thigh. There is what helping keep that foot at that angle. Last 2. One more. And all the way back up. Beautiful. Okay. From the Cossack Squats, we're going to come down into our zigzags. So, setting yourself up. Left knee to the ground, right foot in front, heel toe out, 45 degrees. Take your weight if you would like. We start. If you're holding the weight, you've got to be a little bit more sort of switched on with the balance, because obviously now hands are preoccupied. But we inhale here, exhale, bend into right leg, keep the heel flat to the ground, shoulders over hips. Come up, exhale, zag. Flexing, lifting the toes up, hinge forwards. Inhale, exhale, bend. Inhale, exhale, back. Take your time. Next 3, nice and slow. Drive your heel into the ground as you lift the toes off. Good, last one. Back. Beautiful, pop it up. Take a break with the weight as you swap sides if you're still using it. Left foot goes out 45 degrees. Make sure hips are nice and level with one another. Shoulders stay over the hips. Okay, let's move on to using it with the weight if we want. Inhale, exhale, bend left leg. Come back up, hinge at the hips, straighten up left leg. So again, 5, keeping it nice and controlled. Using the core, especially more if you've got the weight involved. Lovely, last 2. Breathing here. One more. And then all the way up. Pop your weight down. Come to standing, because why not? Shake it all out. Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to do this one without the weight, because we're changing up what we're doing ever so slightly. Lying on our back. And this time, instead of doing 2-legged bridge, we're going to do single leg, just so we can get more stimulus up to one leg, but also test out our pelvic stability. So, check you can feel your heels. We're going to start by elevating the right leg upwards. You can keep it bent, it can be dead straight, whatever feels more comfortable. So, 5 reps each side. Push the big toe of the left foot into the ground as well as the heel. Lift the hips as high as you can without wobbling and twisting too much. Slowly back down. Inhale, we lift, hold for 2 seconds. Slowly back down. Good. Again, squeeze and lift. Use a core, hold. Lowering nice and calm. Last 2. Breathe. Slowly down. Last one, push, elevate. Slowly lower. Beautiful. Let's swap legs over. Check you can feel your right heel. When you're ready, push, lift, squeeze. Slowly down. Remember, we're trying to use the hamstrings, the glutes, the adductors, abductors, as well as the core to help provide stability to the pelvis and the lower spine. Okay, last one. And slowly down. Hug your knees, rock side to side. Maybe bring your nose upwards. Cool. And again, roll over onto your front. And we're going to bring ourselves into our last set of the lying 90s. If you wanted to make this harder, you can put an ankle strap around your heel so it's weighted, but we're not going to do that. I don't have the equipment. So all we're going to do is the exact same, because it's quite, like I said earlier, spicy for the whole body. So hands go underneath your shoulders. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Start by pushing the right leg, the hips into the ground. Lift the left heel. Squeeze it up. Skim across the ground, up towards left hand. Let it land, lift, and reverse it back. Nice and slow as you go throughout the next couple. Again, we're going for 5. If you want to take an extra little challenge, try to minimize the movement into your upper body so it's all that leg. Last one. And slowly back and release. Shake it out, and we'll swap sides over. So onto the right leg. Squeeze shoulder blades together. Engage the butt, press the left leg to the floor. Lift right knee, skim it across the ground, bring it forwards, and then pop it back. Again, out to the side, let it land. Slowly back. See how this side fares with minimal movement into your chest, if that's what you would want. Last two. Last one. And then pop it back. And then release. Pillow with your hands, rock your hips side to side. And there we have it. I hope the lower body is feeling mobilized, in the joints and muscles are feeling primed. Maybe you've worked up a little bit of a sweat, I definitely have. And yeah, I hope everything's feeling nice and juicy. So if you had any suggestions for future videos, if you'd like to see more, please let me know in the comments. Hit subscribe if you want to keep up to date with all my uploads. Otherwise, I will see you next time.